All right, guys, back here on the SEC basketball experience. As promised, we are joined by Alabama guard Chris Youngblood. And Chris, thanks for joining us. I know we're catching up with you here in early September. You guys are fully into the swing of things. It's not just sort of the dog days of summer anymore. Season's only a couple months away. How are things going now?
It's going pretty good, man. After our retreat, we kind of picked it up a little bit, had some fun on the court, competing just like the summer. But man, we just keep on sharpening our tools.
I love it, Chris. I'm going to rewind here before you got to Alabama. You actually called your decision to come to Tuscaloosa a no-brainer. What made that so easy? What was so easy about this decision?
Man, so when I was in the portal, like I talked to a lot of schools, but when I talked to Oats, Coach Oats on Zoom call, Preston, and when we started talking about basketball, that was just like the way they talked about basketball. Like if you love basketball, if you trying to get to the next level, it's not really much to talk about when it comes to this program.
Well, and Chris, that's a great segue into this because I'm sure as you know, and we'll kind of get into some other things, but look, I mean, anytime there is the preseason hype surrounding a team like Alabama, who just comes off of a Final Four, a lot of high expectations coming into the season, wanting to take that next step towards a national championship. How have maybe you guys as a team, and also like you mentioned, sort of Coach Oates there, how have you gone about sort of handling that outside noise, I guess, as everyone always talks about, heading into a season when you do have these high of expectations to go out and achieve your goal of winning a national championship?
Yeah, but actually on our little retreat, we addressed that pretty heavily because, man, naturally, like we're all on social media, so it's kind of hard to escape unless you just delete your social media apps. But man, that's really up to. I mean, Oates does a good job, but it's up to leaders like the captains, the older guys on the team, because we know what that can do to a team if you let it get to your head. And so we just, man, tunnel vision, stay focused, man, get better every day. And plus, I mean, I didn't go to the Final Four last year, and a lot of folks on this team didn't go to the Final Four last year. So we have a lot of work to do.
Chris can blame us,
Chris,
Max, right, for all the preseason
yeah,
hype. So you can blame us
yeah.
for that. But go ahead, Max.
Staying on the topic of getting better every day. So I am a huge fan of the physicality of basketball. I love the bully ball. And you have actually put on, I think, north of 20 pounds since your freshman year.
I think I have, man.
I'm
I haven't kept track, but I've been around 215, 220, pushing 225 since sophomore year. I feel like, man, I don't even keep track anymore.
I love it. There's no need to keep track when you play the way you do. But I was wondering, like, how important is that to you? Like maintaining that physicality of the game and like the weight room, nutrition. Is that a huge part of your energy, or is that just always been a part of your game?
Yeah, coming into college, the one thing I didn't want to have to worry about my freshman year, because usually us freshmen, you just get in the weight room, try to get big, you waste the whole year just getting big and getting your body together. I didn't really want to deal with that. So strength and all has never been a problem with me because I feel like if I had to take time out the basketball game to get stronger, that's just.
Yeah.
But and then plus when you can just physically not beat somebody, but physically dominate somebody during a game, it's a different feeling, man.
I love
Chris,
that. I love that.
I think and I'm sure Max, you can follow up because I know you had something you wanted to ask about this. But when we go back to the start of your career, you played 4 seasons.
Mm.
I mean, you have just been the model of consistency when you look at it, just from year to year, the things you set out to achieve. And I know starting with a team that was trying to sort of claw its way up, you guys finally got there a couple seasons later at Kennesaw. Last year, you're on a South Florida team that was able to get to the tournament as well. And I'm just curious, like from your standpoint, like what do you feel like just from your game itself has been able to help you be this consistent each season? Because we know too, like in the changing landscape in college basketball, if you're playing for multiple teams, sometimes there's an adjustment process and those kind of things. But man, you have just been, again, from day one, it seems like very consistent each of these 4 seasons.
One thing that's probably the biggest part for me is okay, I have, of course I have individual goals, but if you really just focus on the individual goals and just nothing but that, okay, you're probably not gonna get your stats and get your percentages that you want, man. So one thing I let my work, just trust my work and just feed into the team and focus on trying to win. That's the most important part is winning. If let's say I got all these consistent stats, but I'm not winning, nobody really probably is going to talk about it. So putting really my main focus on winning, and also knowing I'm a pretty decent, pretty good basketball player. So you just mix that up, and yeah, you get consistency.
Did you know that at South Florida last year, that's the team record for wins, 25 wins?
I think
South Florida.
we broke quite a few records.
Yeah.
I stopped paying attention to it because maybe we still had stuff to do, but I think I did. I do remember that.
Is wild your track record for stepping into. I mean, it's a little bit different here now, but stepping into traditions that have not been like Alabama has the past few years, and then within a few years, you're almost beating Xavier in the first round of March Madness.
It was right there, man. It was right there. I wish I could get that game back. Oh my Lord.
I did not have a question about this, but now I just have to ask. Talk to me about that Xavier game, because I remember I was actually live on Instagram Live, streaming, watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that.
That game felt like the first half felt like 5 minutes, but that second half felt like a whole hour, man. I'm like, man, like just kept on walking us down, just kept on scoring. We wasn't scoring. I'm like, man, they within 5 points. Like in March Madness, man, everything is just a blur. Like you're just living in the moment. So it's kind of hard, especially the first game. First game, everything's just a blur. It felt like a movie. So it felt like a basketball game, but more it felt like a performance, I don't know what it was, but nah, I'm definitely gonna be prepared this year for March Madness. I miss it.
Well, Chris, I think you've got a team too in practice that's going to help you prepare each day because we talked about it earlier, just sort of getting in the swing of practice and the guys you're going up against now and knowing sort of the background and the achievements of Mark Sears and everyone else that's there, right? And I think that's what I'm most curious about too is just how is that for you? Like it is, as we said, it's an adjustment when you go from one school to another, but now you are stepping into, a place where you're getting to learn and compete alongside, again, like you said, some guys that were on that Final Four team last year, but also you've got a lot of other, new guys that are joining you. And how have you kind of seen that chemistry come together? And what has it been like, being able to, again, compete against these guys, Latrell Wrightsell, Mark Sears, and so forth, day to day in practice?
Yeah, speaking of Latrell, man, he's a dog. Before I had to start, he's a dog. I didn't realize he was that much of a dog, man, until he started playing these past couple weeks. But man, every day in practice, ever since the day I stepped on the campus, it's been like Game 7 NBA Finals. Like whether it's a workout, a practice, because everything we compete, we keep score, we keep track of everything. So that's been fun because I'm a big time competitor. So competing every day against the best. It's kind of hard to usually when you go into practice in college, it gets so repetitive. Like, oh man, here we go. But if you competing, everybody talking mess to each other. Coach Oats, he getting into it. Preston on the sideline, instigating. Panone screen. Like it's just you walk into one of our practices, man. Like it's fun, man. It's pretty fun.
Now you played with some pretty good shooters last year and at Kennesaw as well. But how has it been playing with this level of spacing, this level of shooting? He's just laughing already.
Man, it's I'm gonna say unreal because I saw it coming, but it's just different. Something I gotta get used to because when you pass to somebody that can make a shot at a very high efficient rate at all times, whether it's contested, wide open, it make you look better. Cause I'm not the best passer, but I can make some decent reads, and then they just make me look 10 times better because they make the shot. It might be the wrong read, but they shoot the ball and it goes in. I look like Rajon Rondo or something.
I'm glad you mentioned Rondo because I was going to ask you, Chris. This is one of the questions I have, and I'm moving up the list. But like, as you were growing up as a basketball player, who were your favorite players? Who were you looking up to? Who was inspiring Chris Youngblood?
Kobe Bryant. It's Kobe. That's all. That's all I gotta say. Bryant.
There we go. I'm going to stay on the topic I was kind of going through earlier of like you progressing throughout your career. So I was going through your KenPom profile. It goes through all the deep stats. Your foul rate, like the rate that you get.
Like close your ears here. You have no idea. Like this guy's going to have all these just wild stats he's about to throw at you. So
you got it. You got to dive deep.
This staff and all these analytics and stuff, man, I'm used to it.
There we go. The rate that you draw fouls, whether it's get to the free throw line or just a common foul, the rate that you've drawn fouls the past 2 seasons, so the South Florida season and then your final year at Kennesaw, were almost double your foul drawn rate of your first 2 seasons. I was wondering, like, is that like a mentality that you just like flipped a switch? I'm going to start drawing more contact, or was this like a development in your game? I was wondering like what you would attribute that kind of uptick in your ability to play through contact, if you want to call it that way.
Yeah, it's a little bit of, going throughout college and the game slowing down a little bit, and also realizing when somebody sees me, like I'm a pretty big guard, so they think they want to get all physical. I'm like, hey, let's get physical. It's not football. Like I have no problem with contact, so I invite all the contact. Man, I will be just fine. But it's more so the game slowing down, and when people like to get physical, because let's say they hit a couple shots, they trying to, and I'm gonna sell it a little. I'm not gonna flop, but I'm gonna let the ref know, like, hey man, this dude is fouling me. I might be all big and strong, but a foul is a foul, man.
I wasn't gonna ask it before, but you brought it up. Did you play football in high school?
Nah. I played. I went to one practice in middle school and never touched the field again.
But
the practice was probably like 2 hours. I was there for about 30 minutes, man. Never touched the field again.
You could probably step on right now, and I doubt you'd have much trouble.
It's more so a mentality, man. I just went to the football game this past weekend. I saw the way they was getting hit. I love my body way too much, man.
I don't know, Chris. Listen, we watch a lot of SEC basketball. You're gonna have some games that may feel like you're playing a football game with the physicality. Sometimes in this league, you already know that. But something too, I think that's interesting, and we talk about. And look, everyone with Alabama, they always want to look at the offensive numbers because it is, that exciting style, as we mentioned, with the threes and the way Coach Oats likes to play. But, I think when you look at it on the other side, too, on the defensive side, you mentioned guys getting after it in practice, those kind of things. That's an area last year, that was talked about a lot with this team, wanting to improve certain things on the defensive side. Big Cliff comes in. I mean, you've got Grant there. Jaron Stevenson's back. And you just keep going down the list. What have you seen, in terms of, again, for you being on offense in practice, going up against other guys on the defensive side? How do you feel like this team is kind of coming together on the defensive end at this point in the preseason?
Yeah, defense. One thing I learned about defense throughout college, it's a mentality. Like it starts off the foundation. You gotta have a mentality, but like the closer you are with your team and your brothers, it's kind of like having your brothers back. And also just not wanting to be the one that messes up the defense, like that gets blown by, that doesn't rotate. So man, we just come together and we all have just on the same page where don't let your brother down, don't be the one to mess up. And plus our new defensive coach Brian Adams, man, he's been big time and just emphasizing defense. Like, hey man, we're going to shoot the ball real good, make a lot of shots, but defense is where we're going to win championships.
Chris, one of the last ones from me, but you played in some really big games last year, some primetime games. But this year, got a home and away at Auburn. You got some big-time non-con games. Just talk to me, like, personally, like, is there, like, now added nerves for you? Like, holy smokes, I'm playing in this massive arena? Or is it more like excitement? Like, I cannot wait to play in front of these bright lights. Kind of how does that go for you playing in these huge games?
Yeah, like if you would have asked me that question about a couple of years ago, okay, yeah, I'm shaking out my boots. I'm nervous. I don't know what, but I played a lot of college basketball. I played against the best of the best, and all different levels. So it's more so excitement, just ready to just perform on that big stage and get big wins, get big wins with the team, and then just also, man, my family, like when they travel and witness these environments, that's what's gonna make me happy at the end of the day. It's watching them experience it with me.
All right, Chris, we'll wrap up with a couple fun ones here. Max, I'll save the food question for you, but
Yep.
all right, Chris, funniest player on the team. Who's the guy that has everyone laughing all the time?
Oh my Lord, we got a lot of comedians on the team. Like, it's bad. Like I don't think you understand. It's bad. Like we are hilarious. Oh man, I say Big Cliff because like we don't know when he's funny or he's serious, and half the time he's funny. Like he's just joking, but he says in this one tone, it's like we don't know if you're playing or serious or not. But yeah, Big Cliff for sure. Big Cliff.
Is there any is the whole team like, are you equally as close as any team? Do you have like a roommate that you're a little bit closer with or anything like that? Is there a running mate with Chris, or is it just one big family?
I live by myself, but if
Okay.
I say the closest, I mean we all pretty close, but
Right.
somebody could relate to probably between Houston, Millette, or Big Cliff. Big Cliff.
Why about Houston?
Houston's, man, like as y'all throughout the year and y'all get to know Houston, man, Houston might be the most, I can't even say interesting dude ever, but like he'll tell you, he's just so free spirited, man. He's just one of a kind. I can't really explain it. You gotta talk to him. It's not gonna take you long to understand what I'm talking about.
We'll have to do that. So I'm wondering, you've been all over the place here. I actually just lived in Atlanta last year, so I know about some of the good food they have. Back in Tuscaloosa here, say I'm coming down for a big Saturday primetime game. I want to grab a nice bite before the game. Where am I going, Chris?
Urban Bar and Kitchen. Oh my Lord. Oh
There we
my
go.
man. They got
Talk
everything.
to me.
I don't think I haven't tried. I've tried about 5-6 different things, man. They ain't missed yet. But Urban Bar and Kitchen, yeah, trust me, it's right downtown. I think it's like right beside this oyster. I don't know, some oyster restaurant, but it's elite. Trust me.
You heard it here first, guys.
Elite.
Urban Bar and Kitchen. If you're listening and or watching, and you would like to sponsor any future interviews with Chris Youngblood, free publicity right here. So
man, I'm gonna take care of y'all, man. I'm gonna promote y'all any way y'all need. Y'all deserve it.
there you go. Hey, Chris, we appreciate you doing this, man. Again, I know you guys are busy getting ready for the season, but a lot of fun to catch up with you, and I'm sure we'll have fun seeing you in the future there this season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.